Let's start with the invocation. Marty, would you lead us in that?
Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to come and represent the citizens of this city. Lord, we pray that you just give us wisdom tonight to make good decisions and take us all home safe. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Samantha, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll go ahead and convene our meeting. We'll start with roll call. Misty Cottle.
Here.
Jeff Upton. Here. Jan Throgmorton.
Here.
Marty Lindaberry.
Here.
John Collins. Here. Dina McKnight.
Here.
Don Rollins. Here. Anthony Foster.
Here.
Our city attorney and city clerk are both present. First item is the adoption of our agenda. I would like to make an amendment. You guys have a resolution in front of you. Is Sandy going to make it tonight?
No, that'd be.
Just you. We got the B team tonight. Sorry. So we have a resolution concerning a grant that Sandy Formica helped us get concerning the river. And so I would like to move that resolution to item 7 of new business.
Make a motion, we do that.
I second it.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with the aforementioned amendment? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. Next is the approval of our meeting minutes from October 8th. Do we have any changes that need to be made to those? Or motions?
I'll make a motion that we approve them as they're written.
Second?
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. Next up is our public forum. Do we have anybody that would like to address the council tonight? No? Okay, so we'll close the public forum, move into our business reports. First item in business reports are the planning commission. Walter had emailed, he was not going to be able to make it tonight. They did not have a meeting this past month, so they would not have a report. But are there any questions concerning planning commission? Next is the court report. Tracy is not here tonight either. We do have her report in our packet. Everyone can see that it shows a vast decrease from normal on the distributions coming out of the court. Any questions for court?
No.
Okay. Next up is our library report. Marie,
And she's here.
she's here.
I'm here. All right, so we are down a little bit in some of our numbers, but not in our story time. So we've continued to increase in story time. Last week we had 34 people, including adults, for our first story time, and then 4 more people came for our second story time. So we are still holding the infant story time, and we're kind of deciding what we're going to do with that moving forward, but we're really still loving it and excited about it. We had our Ask the Mayor, and the next one is coming up on the 15th. So it's too late to submit questions for this month, but not too late to submit questions for next month. We have our local artist, Jeffy O'Kane, coming and doing a card making workshop for holiday cards. So if you want to make your own Christmas card and learn how to do it with an artist, it's on November 20th at 2 p.m. Also, the Schmeeding Center, I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly, is going to be facilitating a support group for people who are either caregivers or family members or friends of people with dementia or Alzheimer's. So if you know somebody who's struggling right now because of a loved one who has one of those conditions, this is a great opportunity. And that's going to be on the 21st. Also, just some numbers. When we did Ask the Mayor, we had about 17,000 views, which I didn't check to see how long all the views were, but we had 1,700 views. My bad. On Facebook. assign you to. Sorry, I'm exaggerating the numbers a little bit. And he answered 12 questions. This upcoming one, we have about 5 questions. So, does anyone have any questions for me?
Your Alzheimer's and dementia program, what is that again?
It's going to be in the library building.
Is it like a support group type thing, or is it just informational, get things out there, kind of help everybody out?
Kind of both. So they usually have like a target thing that they cover. Sometimes they help people find free resources in the community. And then also there are some people who are regulars, is my understanding, that come, but it is specifically for like the caregivers and family members. And they connect you with free resources, but they usually have a specific topic, I think, but it is a quarterly meeting, and this is the first one we're hosting at the library. I don't know if we'll do more, but we did want to offer that in the community, and we're really excited that someone reached out about it.
And that's
The 21st.
The part of this month?
The 21st of November. It's
Of
a
November.
Wednesday, and No, I think it's a Thursday, my bad. And it's from, I want to say 3:30 to 5, but I'll have to double check on my calendar, and I forgot to bring that one today.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
It is a Thursday.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, wait, the 20th is a Wednesday, so I'm off.
Anything else for Marie? Okay, thanks, Marie. Next, police report, Chief Halliburton.
Hey, good evening. Okay. For October, we took 283 reports, which was down about 200 reports from this time last year. We wrote 35. Yeah, 35. Is that right? Anyway, 50 citations versus 99 warnings. We had 29 warrants served, had 6 felony arrests, 3 misdemeanor arrests, and that was it for the month of October.
Any questions for the chief? No? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Public Works, Mr. Isaac.
Carry on. Maybe you have something to report for Homestead? Okay.
You probably know as much or know what's going on. I can get up and talk.
It's been a busy month. Water loss was pretty high, so we had several leaks. A couple of big ones and mainly a bunch of service line leaks that we found during the drought. The new sewer meter is in at the lift station. I am unable to view that on Island Water, but they tell me it's working properly, so I can't argue with them. Some of y'all that have city water bills probably got a lead and copper thing from us in the mail. That is per the new lead and copper rule. We have to list. That is the first part of it. We had to list everybody in town as unknown service lines, and then that starts the process. We have to start going around and trying to identify them. So when we dig them up, we'll have to document what we repair. Now, I don't know something will probably change as far as the houses go, because I don't know how I'm not going in the house and cutting sheetrock back to see what kind of lines in the house, so. But we'll start by inventorying ours, and then it'll move forward from there, so. Water board training,
I'm done with that. But I
You're
did
done.
call.
you're done, John Collins
I
is
didn't
done.
have
I'm not.
certificate
Yeah.
yet. She,
I need help. I sent a
Freezing
thing and
issues.
it never sent me back and I forgot, to
I
be
just
honest.
got it back today.
Did mine.
The day I talked to you, I got signed up today was the first day that they actually sent it back.
I'll probably do everything anyway.
I probably did something wrong.
Did you yours?
Yeah,
I haven't done mine.
Just by myself.
It wasn't bad. It took me maybe 4 hours to sit and do it.
wasn't bad. It only,
How long did it take you, Marty?
it took a little while, but it was boring.
It is a little boring.
Did anybody write down the answers for me so I don't have to sit through all of that?
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
I did print all the text off if somebody needs it to read it
I
as a
do.
refresher.
I need
So
it.
Well, if you should probably work on it. If you're having trouble falling asleep at night, you should bring up a course. Terrible. It's torture.
certificates. I need the certificates of completion so I can file that paperwork back with ANRC. So
When I called them today, they said that they were behind on getting those mailed out. They had not a cyber attack, but why are y'all looking at each other like that?
Because we've been dealing with the state for the last month.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Not a cyber attack.
I'm pretty sure there's like 2
they
people that work there,
said,
and I've
but-
talked to both of them.
Okay, but she said it's in the pile to be mailed out.
Yeah.
So
I
is
got
there like
mine.
a hard deadline? Did I pass it already?
No, yours
No,
is
if you
not
haven't
completed
signed
yet.
up.
I know, but like, is there a hard deadline of when I need to have it done by?
By year end.
Oh, I've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I
December 31st.
She's got Christmas break. So there's still
Our sidewalk project down here is moving pretty slow. We've been having, it's me and 2 other guys, so we're having to pull off and fix leaks, and I've been crazy busy with inspections. So they've got four almost done in the Smith Street addition. 2 more framed, they're getting sheetrock, and 2 more beam framed. So they're moving pretty quickly, and I think they've got permits pulled on 4 more. So
Have we heard if anybody's been up there, if any of those have been purchased or anything?
when I talked to Mark, he said that they had, I don't know, they had like 25 people interested in those houses. So they were getting some interest. He was quizzing me about when the street was going to be paved.
I'm sure.
So I did get a bid. We did accept that bid to pave that road. So if we get approved for state aid paving, that Smith Street will come off of that, and we'll just add
Move it
those
somewhere
streets.
else.
So yeah, we're going to try to get that. MRSAP assures me that that'll be done by the end of the year. So that'll make that look a whole lot better. I had a guy call me the other day doing a job in Mountainburg, doing some chip seal, asphalt. Said he had a little bit left. Sold it to me really cheap. I'm not a big fan of chip seal, but he swears up and down this stuff is good. So we sent him to South 40, and he chip sealed the hill up there that we're having so much trouble with. So,
Fantastic.
so we'll get a good test of how good it is up there. So that's why my fan club, oh, they were here, but they left. We're here. So,
I wonder if that's who those guys were?
Yeah.
They were probably here to thank us for,
yeah, you didn't
paving.
give them the opportunity.
I know.
I was going to get a pat on the back.
We'll give you one.
Yeah, good job.
But I think that's about all I got.
So how many go back to what the first thing you were talking about, the lead, what? You
So lead and
looked at
copper.
me, were you meaning I got a letter?
You should have got a letter, yes.
Or an email. I got an
On a
email.
water bill.
Some people, if you get a paper water bill, it was on the bottom of your water bill.
Okay,
If you get an electronic water bill, then you should have received an email.
okay, so they just went
I
out,
didn't distribute them.
they just went out to only the houses that, or they went out to everybody?
They went out to everyone.
Okay,
That are suspect.
Everyone.
that's what I was making.
We can go back and take any house that was built after '89. We automatically know that they have no lead in theirs.
Oh.
Anything before that is has to be identified,
So how do we know that?
you probably don't. I don't.
How do we
So,
find out? I mean, my house was built,
well, first we're trying to get the city portion done.
okay,
It's mainly geared towards lead service lines, which is, and Don's probably fixed some, lead goosenecks that come off a tap and go to galvanized pipe.
Yeah, the old guys fix them.
So those, which we don't have very, I've not encountered one since I've been here, so.
I know. Don't let me know.
So it's,
Do you have to carry extra solder for that, or?
so yeah. So it's just kind of a process. This company that's handling that it was free. They're doing all that for us, so we just send them an address list, and when they ask for something, we try to get it for them, so. And we have met our deadline that we had to either have it all in or have everyone notified by like November 16th that we did not know what kind of service line they had, so. October 16th, so. That's all I got.
You got any tools that help find the leak? Anything to listen with or
I got some listeners. Got a leak?
somewhere? Probably right at the end of where we replaced it to.
I got questions for you after the meeting too. We'll make this go on. All right. Nothing else?
Are you giving a report? How many houses do we have tied in at Homestead?
I knew they had 35 ready to tie over, and I think last I checked with Trent, they had about a dozen? Or is
I've
that
got-
right
I've
I know
got
he's-
pictures and addresses on 20.
It
Okay.
looks like they're pretty close to half,
Yeah.
at
now?
least, because I drove through there Saturday.
I haven't received how many they did today. He usually sends me a whole package of pictures and addresses when they're done. So.
The ones that you haven't heard from, seems like y'all were waiting to hear back from a couple.
We got them.
Everybody's signed.
Oh, good.
Yeah. He's actually already tied on.
Oh, good.
So
so everybody in Homestead is getting the sewer? Or?
Yep.
Everybody is, everybody?
Yeah, they don't have a choice.
Even the holdout, that's what I thought.
yeah, he signed and they were actually at his, so they just put it in. So
Cool,
he's already tied on.
good deal.
All right.
Next, Parks Report. Director Harrison.
Well, it was a pretty slow month for us, unlike Isaac. TJ and I both took a little time off, but we did get a few things done. We wrapped up our flag football season. That all went really well. We did have our Arbor Day tree planting celebration last week.
That's right.
Last week, yes. Week ago Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, week ago Friday. Okay. We planted a wildfire black gum tree down by the walking trail at Carter Park. It'll provide some shade and it's supposed to look really nice and be colorful certain times of the year. We've done a little off-season field work on all of our fields, and after we finally did get some rain, depends, 7, 8, 9 inches. We had very little water on the fields. I was very happy and impressed with that. They're draining really well, best they've done ever. And and then other than that, it's just been no major projects that we've accomplished this month anyway. It's just mainly being general maintenance and upkeep of the parks. We have started getting Christmas lights ready. Got some organization done down there, ordered some bulbs that we know we're going to need, and we're planning on probably starting on getting those and going through them tomorrow. I'm thrilled. TJ's less thrilled, I can promise you. So yeah, that's about it for the parks.
When are you gonna start hanging lights?
Well, we usually try to hang them the week of Thanksgiving, the Monday or Tuesday before
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, weather permitting. If it
Yeah.
looks like it's going to be nasty, we'll try to do it a little bit earlier than that. But yeah, we usually start the week of Thanksgiving. So we did get our water fountain at Carter Park bathroom is installed today. We don't know if it works or not. We gotta get a meter put in so we can get the water turned on. But we did get our, because it's tied to our garden meter. So hopefully once Isaac gets us a meter, we'll see if it works. If it does, we'll have a water fountain and bottle filler down there as well now.
Okay. Anything else for Chad? Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Next, fire department, Chief Myers.
If you don't have to do this one more time with me, so, I'm sure everybody looked at the report, we had 104 calls for last month, which was our second busiest. 26 of those were fire calls, so
That's huge.
praise the Lord, we had some rain. So, it wasn't just all for us, we helped in Boston Mountains, Strickler, any of those other ones, so. Trunk or treat, went great, had great turnout, big bunch of kids, we had hippie program kids there today, so. Travis done a couple of career days and show and tell days last month, and now we're just looking forward to Christmas parade. Other than that, that's all I got.
Any questions for Chief Myers?
I got your back, Don. I saw people stick together.
I need you to do something for me if you can. A friend of mine's wife fell
She lift assist.
and he can't get her up by himself.
Okay.
They're up on, trying to think what street it is up there.
It's gonna be hard to do that if you don't know.
Well, I'm asking the address right now.
Yeah. Okay.
So it just happened?
Red Oak, number 10 Red Oak.
Okay.
Is it 7?
And she's laying down in,
Couple people go up there and,
yeah, a couple guys,
okay.
if you can. Get some-
10? Let me see what I'm.
Yeah, 10 Red Oak.
Okay.
Thank you.
They don't need an ambulance from that.
I don't think so.
You sure?
He just said that she's been falling and he can't lift her up.
Okay.
He can't help her.
Okay.
David started.
All right. Christie, give us a finance report.
Our bank balances, for the year have decreased by $99,500. But we are under budget by $154,000. We do currently have, this report says 93,000, I think we're down to right at 90,000 in the ARPA funds still. The majority of that will be used on the sidewalk that Isaac's working on. Sales tax has stayed steady all year. Looks like it's gonna be about the same thing as we collected last year. On the water department, their bank balances have increased by 94,000. And they are under budget by 379,000 so far this year. You can see at the bottom where we are, we're 76,000 in the hole. Nope, sorry, 29,000 in the hole for our sewer income versus expense so far this year.
That's Fayetteville adjusted for the meter reading?
We have not yet. We haven't had enough time on the new meter, I don't think, to be able to do that. So that's something in the next
Well, that
month or
could get
so
better.
we will be asking Nick to help us with, yes. We did have a very high water loss this time, but they had a lot of leaks before the rain, and they fixed a lot of leaks, so hopefully that one will level out a little bit next month. Any questions?
Questions for Christie? You might as well stay where you're at. So that concludes the business reports. We don't have any ordinances on here tonight, do we?
No.
So we will not need a procedural motion. We have no old business, but we do have 7 items of new business. Item 1 is setting a date for the budget workshop of November 19th at 6:30 p.m. Does that work for everyone? Okay.
And I left copies of the budget that we'll be presenting to you there, so if you guys have any questions between now and the meeting, feel free to give me a call or give us a heads up what the questions are gonna be, so we can at least look for answers for you before the meeting.
So with that, we'll see you guys next Tuesday night. Item 2, approve the 2023 audit for City and Water.
So I have emailed those each to you as we got those. I do have hard copies if anybody wants a hard copy with it. We just need a vote on the minutes to say that you guys have read those and accept those.
Make a motion to accept them.
That was at first a silent second, Jen.
I second. Will you scream again?
You were shaking your head. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the 23 audit for water and sewer, or, I'm sorry, for City and Water. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. Item 3, under new business, is a contract with Computer Consultants of NWA Incorporated. This is in the packet. Christy, what can you tell us about this?
So what I can tell you is basically our services are not changing in any way. This is the same company that the city's used for over 30 years. And we're not expecting services to change at all. We basically have had him rewrite his contract so that we could pay him a flat amount instead of it varying every month. What we have done currently and for many years is we have paid for like 10 hours of service that basically covered updates, backups, that type of thing. And then anything above and beyond that, he charged us an hourly rate for. So if we had new employees, we had to switch emails, anything else, printer went down, anything else, he was charging us by the hour. So basically what we did was we went back for about 5 years, looked at an average of what we've paid him, broke out equipment, labor, the different fees that he pays for us for subscriptions for like LogMeIn, that kind of thing. Broke all that out so that we could actually see what we had paid for labor versus equipment. And came up with a number that we both agreed on as far as thinking that was a fair assumption of what we've been paying, and made it so that we can pay him a flat fee. There is wording in there so that we can evaluate it, especially the first couple of years. We'll evaluate it every quarter just to make sure that we're getting what we're paying for and he's getting paid for what he's doing. Just to make sure that it stays fair to everybody. But the main reason was just so that we can have a much easier way to budget for what we're doing. The things that are not included in that are if we do purchase new computers, new equipment of any sort, then that's on us. It would be on us with the other way we were doing it also. But that's basically why we have this new contract and why it's different than it has been in the past.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. I think that's good for now. I don't think we need you for this one. We might. Item 4 is to appoint T.J. Howerton as the new fire chief of West Fork, effective January 1st, 2025.
Need a motion?
I would like one, just
I'll
to
make a motion that we appoint TJ as the new chief.
I'll second.
have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. We have him here. He hasn't started the job. Would anybody like to grill him tonight?
Can we take back our motion?
Congratulations. It's well earned.
Thank you.
Yes,
Well,
it is.
is it a part-time? Is he still gonna help Chad?
He's gonna help Chad whether he wants to or not, probably.
So I will say that there has been some contention. TJ came highly recommended by Mark as his replacement. We did, of course, we put out a notice that we were hiring a fire chief, but so it was me and Mark and Steve Harrison with the rule that made the decision. But yeah, I would say Mark was a little bit biased. He put in a recommendation for him, and
And then it said on the board.
And then Chad, you fought it. You didn't give a good recommendation.
Well, now Chad, I will say, the only bad things I heard were from Chad. He told me, terrible employee. Why would anybody hire this guy?
Leave him where he's at.
No.
He's just.
I will say there's been some funny conversations. Parks has discussed possibly transferring some parks duties over to fire. It's been brought up that our Christmas lights are now a fire hazard, probably fall in the fire department purview. Anyway,
Hey, he's gonna take over Christmas lights, I'm pretty sure.
happy to have you, TJ. Appreciate that.
Checking each goal.
I have talked to both Mark and TJ. I'm hoping that Chad will allow for TJ to do some shadow work with Mark, just to get some more familiarity with those things that he's not familiar with, some of Mark's day-to-day stuff that
Are
that he
you
may
sure
not be
you want
familiar
him to
with.
do that?
If there's not a peaceful transition, it's because of Chad.
So it is nice when we can hire in-house like that, and it's a nice,
Sure.
even, nice, easy transition. But anyway, congratulations, TJ.
Thanks, sir. Happy to have him.
Item 5, Resolution 2024-08. Waive competitive bids on the decommissioning of the homestead step system. And so what we're talking about here is we have someone who is willing and able to decommission all of the septic tanks in those backyards. Nick, if there's anything you would like to add to this, please do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we have the tanks in everyone's backyards, and then there's a treatment system, a regional treatment system that they all pump to that's got underground tanks, drip fields, all that. And there's a company, Mineco, right now that has been operating and maintaining the overall system, including the individual systems at each house for several years now, under contract with the Homestead POA or HOA or whatever they are right now. But, yeah, they are ready and more than willing to help make that transition fully to conventional sewer and help get the project closed out.
Are they closing the plant for it, or is that what they're doing?
Yeah, they'll handle the whole closure, the closure plan with DEQ and getting that permit they have closed out and everything. They will turnkey and take care of it all.
Did we borrow money? Is that part of what we borrowed the money, or is this something extra?
This,
Go ahead.
so, yeah. So it was part of the original budget. We had a line item for decommissioning the system, the individual tanks and the treatment plant. So that is in the budget. It's part of the overall funding package. You've got some loan, some grant, and some ARPA grant money there too. So it is in there. It's not.
This isn't additional, I guess.
Got you.
Yeah,
that's what.
We didn't have a contractor to perform some of this this work, right? We had not found a contractor to perform it. Isaac was even at one point thinking of seeing if we could decommission those tanks in the backyards.
Correct.
What does that entail, decommissioning them? I mean, if they're not gonna use them anymore and they're in the ground,
They're
what's
basically,
necessary?
they have to pump everything out of them,
Okay.
haul that off, dispose of it.
Is that at the expense of the
The
homeowner?
No, the contractor, that's part of their cost that they'll charge
Okay.
you to dispose of it, and then they'll fill in the tank. They'll
Okay.
actually backfill it, and so it won't collapse in and make a sinkhole in the yard. So they'll
Okay.
fill it in, they'll disconnect all the power to the pumps and all that. And at the treatment plant, they'll basically do the same. They'll take out all the mechanical equipment, fill in tanks, pump them out, and cap off the buried lines, the drip field lines.
So one of the things, John, that's taken this a while to get to this point was there was some confusion. I won't say confusion. There was some question over whether or not we could backfill those tanks or if they were going to have to be pulled out completely. DEQ has gave their blessing to backfilling them.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be an issue because the backyard, some of those backyards are so small, trying to get the equipment back there to get a tank dug up and then get it, you know,
So,
the whole field.
I mean, is it a concrete cistern
Not all of them.
septic tank?
Some are, there's some that are concrete and some are plastic.
Wow.
It's a hodgepodge, and some are literally like right next to the house foundations too. So we started looking at that reality. If they try to dig it up, I mean, you're digging right next to a house, 6-8 foot deep. It was, pretty dicey. So
problem.
Wow.
So the health department does allow them to be backfilled with clean material to keep them from collapsing in. So that's the approach we ended up taking. So that did cause a little time trying to figure out how to do that. But
You know how many of them are plastic? Just for
I haven't heard that
curiosity's
number.
sake?
we're not for sure. We think probably the majority of them are. I would say more of them are than aren't.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, I think some of the original houses, the first ones that went in may have concrete tanks, and then the rest will be plastic. I think they're like 1,200 gallon tanks, 1,200 to 1,500 gallon.
So the
tanks.
bid for that, it's not over what we budgeted.
No, it's right. It's the quote we've gotten from Mine Co. is we had 260,000 in there, and they're right at 270, but we've got 300,000 in project contingencies that have not been touched, and we have some engineering fees that aren't going to get touched, probably 5 to 10,000, and then I think there's some admin costs that aren't going to get used either. So the project and the construction's tracking under budget right now too. So everything out of that total package, we're staying below. We have not had any changes with the installation contractor with Steep Creek. They've done a really good job. So it's covered, and I don't think anyone could do it for a better price or a better job. And then if we did go out to bid, it's going to take time and it's going to cost more money.
Do we have, is it legal for us to say we'll just not take bids?
Yes,
It is? Okay.
I wrote a real flowery letter to Nick about that.
He did.
Yeah, I just corrected it too.
I had a call with the funding agency last week to walk through and say, can we do this? And I said, if you follow state procurement law and do a resolution and have a nice letter from your city attorney stating what law, and city attorney has done that, and it does allow entities and cities to waive that process in extenuating circumstances, which I think we justified in the resolution and in the letter too.
You have the corrected version in your email now.
Okay.
And, we don't do that very often in this city. There are some cities that do it every single month, 2 or 3 times a month.
Really?
Yes.
And we don't.
Yes, we just have one that.
I've talked,
That's why I was concerned.
it's been some years, I found a few, but we don't do it very often.
Yeah.
And we don't want to start doing it very
No,
often,
we
right? I
don't.
mean, it's,
No, I wouldn't recommend, but this is definitely, I said, y'all are.
If Nick's in, I'm in, because I know he's done a great job so far.
yes, that's right.
It's a team effort.
I will say, he skipped out on me Sunday. I was disappointed.
I sent Trent.
Yeah. You did. I didn't send Chad.
Maybe you should
That's 2 hours I'll never get back. Trent he had it figured out. Here's what I need to talk about. See you later, bye.
Yeah.
He was gone.
Yeah.
Anyway. Any other questions concerning this?
No.
Motions?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to waive the competitive bid on the decommissioning of the Homestead step system. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Item 6, approve the 2025-2026 memorandum of understanding between West Fork PD and the West Fork Public School for SRO services. Did we have that in there?
No,
I don't see it.
That was my fault. I thought it was in there, I'm sorry.
Do one of you have the details on it?
I went and met with Mr. Unger, the superintendent, and we currently have, we were paying 58% of the total, and instead of that, we decided to go to a flat rate. Currently, we're paying $43,250. They're paying us $43,250. We entered into a deal where ultimately, not the 2025, but the 2026, we would have that up to 51,000. But they're gonna go in an incremental step by raising that up to half, so it's gonna be 47 and some change for 2025, and then 2026, we're gonna be at 51.
Everybody understand what he's talking about? The reimbursement for the SRO officer. In the past, we'd had the school pay a percentage of that salary. That presented some issues when you got right down to the percentage calculation. So we had an officer in the schools that we were hoping to get a percentage of that salary. But if we changed that officer for whatever reason, or if that officer left campus for part of a day, that percentage is now not what we were trying to get as a total. Does that make sense? You're stewing on it, Dean. So,
Keep talking.
okay, so you make a lot of money, I don't make very much, right? So if we were getting, if the school was reimbursing us 50% of your salary, that would be a large number, right? That's what we're trying to get. But if you had to leave for the day, or you went on vacation and I filled in for you with my small salary, technically, you see where we're going with that?
Gotcha.
So all we're trying to do is basically take it out of a percentage of salary and into, here's a flat fee, still trying to get to our same metrics of coverage for the time that we spend in the school, but without doing it with a percentage.
So I understand that Chief was saying 50-50 basically in 26, is that right?
51,000 a year.
Not 50%?
No, 51,000 for the flat rate.
Okay.
And the school has agreed to this. This is just, we redo this memorandum every year with the school.
Right.
And is that salary, or is that salary equipment, salary benefits? How does that work?
So in the past, we've always figured in, benefits with that percentage. So we're not really changing the bottom line at this point. So, I mean, that's still part of that figure. It's still covering a portion of that, of benefits for the police department.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
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 Those opposed, no. That motion carries. Item 7 is Resolution 2024-09. Would you like to explain this resolution to us? Tell us.
I had a feeling you might ask.
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Matt Van Epps. I am a co-founder and associate director of the Watershed Conservation Resource Center. We're a nonprofit located in Fayetteville. We've done extensive work in the West Fork White River watershed. That's really been our kind of bell cow for nearly 20 years. Prior to us doing the work or starting up this 501c3, I was with ADEQ, and we had some work in the West Fork watershed, just trying to figure out where all the sediment and nutrients were coming from. So that's kind of been the genesis of our organization and where we're at. The ordinance that's presented tonight is associated with a EPA grant that a coalition of partners throughout the state, so essentially it's Northwest Arkansas, Little Rock, and Fort Smith put in for a large EPA grant. In Northwest Arkansas, the WCRC, Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Commission, and other partners developed various projects where we thought we could achieve the objectives of the grant that was being soliciting proposals. And so one of those projects is proposed with the city of West Fork. The grant is no cost to the city, so let's get that out up front. But the purpose of the grant is to improve riparian, pasture, and stream conditions, and we're proposing to do that in the area of the former wastewater treatment plant. So where Dye Creek Road crosses the West Fork of the White River, where the bridge has been replaced, 5 years ago or so. And so as, you know, the WCRC is a primary applicant in this whole process. We've got 6 or 7 projects. We've got one in the city of Greenland, we've got one in the city of Fayetteville, Bentonville, Bella Vista. And we're going to be the recipient of funds for each of those specific projects. We're known as a sub-grant recipient, okay? But in order for us to be a sub-grant recipient and do the West Fork project, we have to have council approval that y'all say, yeah, we're good with this. So that's the idea of the ordinance that's being presented tonight.
Well, what's the project? What are you gonna be doing down there?
We're going to be removing invasives from the woods. So if you've driven down Dye Creek Road and you look off to the right as you're heading west, let's say, you'll see a plethora of invasive called bush honeysuckle. They're in the woods. You can't see 10 feet into the woods, right? And so, you know, one element is the removal of these invasive species. What that allows is sunlight to get down into the woods, allows the understory to grow the plants that would typically have been there had these invasive species not come around. In the area of the wastewater treatment plant, where it's kind of a cleared area right now, I think it's growing fescue. You know, the idea would be to restore it to a prairie condition, and the idea being we'd have warm season, cool season native grasses. So, you know, and I'm kind of thinking outside of the box just in terms of describing this, but, you know, one potential aspect of it is kind of just a little bit of a learning lab, maybe for the elementary school. You know, go out there and learn about native plants and that kind of thing. Along the river, we propose to do some restoration. So upstream Dye Creek Bridge, and I don't know if you all knew that Watershed Conservation Resource Center did the stream restoration downstream of that bridge. So if y'all haven't had a chance to go out there and look at it, especially with water, one very picturesque in September and October. But and we think the project turned out really well. It's greatly reduced sediment and nutrients getting into the river and going down to Beaver Lake. And that's kind of that whole, you know, chain of source water protection that everybody drinks the water that comes out of Beaver Lake. So anything as watershed stakeholders we can do to improve water quality, you know, I think we all should be supportive of that aspect. But that bank along, I call it River Right descending, if you're in a canoe and going down the creek, has been shaped since the wastewater treatment plant was removed, but it's showing signs that it's liking to scour out. And it, you know, it's stream bank stabilization ain't easy from the perspective of it takes some time to get it, you know, dialed in and get it right. So you got to get the plants growing. I mean, you look at any stable stream bank that's got a good aspect to it, it's going to have trees, bushes, those roots are holding in the ground, water comes up, they're slowing water down because they've got stems and they're catching a little leaf litter. So we're going to do some stream restoration on that right descending bank. This project would include 4 landowners, including the city of West Fork. So there's 3 downstream landowners that would be participating in this project as well. Any other questions?
So what are the plants that are growing there that you're gonna take out? What are they good for?
Not much.
Okay.
Bush
Just curious.
honeysuckle is just a really aggressive bush
Right.
that if you can go underneath those, and there ain't plant one underneath that canopy of those bush honeysuckle.
Right.
And so the way we get those out, generally speaking, is with a small mini axe, go and grab them by the neck and pop them out of the ground. Because if you cut them off at the stem and treat them, yeah, you get okay
Right.
results, but you got to get them out of
Just
the ground.
Yeah, okay. Just curious.
And so what's made the big change on this is, and the reason this was on the agenda and amended the agenda was, it's not typical, I shouldn't say it's not typical, WCRC did not realize they were going to be a third party in this, correct? Where we
You know, it was our understanding when we put in the grant application that we were going to be sub-grant recipients and we could come to the city and say, hey, you guys want to do this? And you guys say, the mayor said, yeah, we want to do this. But the way that Metro Plan is kind of the primary recipient, so they're doing the grant administration, and they're, in order for us to do a sub-grant award with them, they're requiring any municipality to, you know, acquiesce and say, yes, we're okay with that.
And this
They want to be
this
sure the
obviously isn't
city's
the
on
first
board,
time.
so we don't show up and say, well, we tried, and they didn't want to do it, you know, so they rather know on the front.
Got it. I make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this. Resolution 2024-09. All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed, no?
Can I ask you a question?
Chad wants to vote.
Yes.
How
That
would
motion
that
carries.
affect, on the sewer plant area, how will that affect any future plans that we might have down there as far as whether it's parks or any other?
So there, I don't know yet.
Okay.
I think that's something that we're still gonna work out with Sandy. And I don't know how much of it's gonna affect the sewer plant. I know
Right.
the initial diagram was more of the area on the other side of the sewer plant. So I think that
No,
plan is
I think
still,
that's a relevant question, because we can't promise something to our grantors and then turn around and say, well, we couldn't do it
Right.
because they had other plans, so I think that's, you know,
Well, I
why.
just didn't know, you know, if they did something, is that land gonna be locked where we can't?
We'd have to do it by a document. There'd have to be an agreement to do that. So that's gonna come back if they wanna do something that they want 30 years or 50 years or something like that. Then before they put money into it, we'll get to consider that.
Okay.
So that,
The other landowners you were talking about, other than the city of West Fork, is that like between West Fork and Greenland? Is that-
Yes.
Okay.
They're to the west, upstream and downstream of the bridge is one landowner, and a little bit further down is a second, and then there's another large landowner on the right.
So how does that affect those people's land?
No, we've been in discussion with them, I mean,
Oh, you have?
you know, kind of like this whole conversation about protective,
Okay.
you know, prescriptions to it, for sure. They're gonna have to say, yeah, we wanna do that, and we've had a lot of positive
Okay.
feedback on that.
Good.
and I just wanna make sure we're not taken away from our park if we do this right here. That's not going to inhibit the parks from being able to do anything they want or be able to build or do what they need for that property down there at the old sewer plant.
That's correct. I don't know if there's imminent plans, Chad. If there's something imminent that we wanna make sure everybody knows about, but that's correct. There's nothing, giving any rights away right now.
Okay.
We're just taking some free money to help the river, which is great.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for this.
So Mayor, who did the motions again? I kind of got
I did. Shannon and me.
Thank you.
Before we move on, can we go back? Nick just brought up the fact that they will have to go in and do a contract with Mineco. And so we are wondering if it's possible for the council to go ahead and vote to allow the mayor to enter into that, knowing that's coming, or would you prefer us to wait until the December when you could actually have a copy of the contract?
So the money's budgeted, the money is in fact earmarked. The law is real clear that the mayor is the contracting agent. I don't think I appreciate that we always do include the council. We don't need to. We can always just sort of bring it back later, but if we want to get it voted ahead of time, we can.
I can make that motion.
And I'll second.
we have a motion and a second to allow the mayor to sign the contract that we voted to approve. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. Number 8. Contract, okay.
See you at the Ferrari dealership.
Yes, yes. Item E, other business. Again, this is a line item to allow the council to bring up things that may not have been on the agenda that they wanted to bring up during a meeting. Item E, we call other business. So tonight, do we have any other business? No? Okay. So hearing none, we will move into item F, mayor's comments. So first and foremost, I want to remind everyone that we do have that Arkansas Department of Transportation meeting on December 5th. It's the 60% design drawings for the replacement of the bridge. For council members and department heads, that will be that'll be open from 3 to 4, or they'll be available from 3 to 4. The general public is welcome to come from 4:30 to 6:30. And so I would like to see everybody there that can make that.
Is that gonna, does it say where it's at? Is that here? or
Yeah, it's at
community
the
center?
community center. The other thing I wanted to point out was we have the Christmas parade, December 4th at 6:30. I have procured a chariot for all of us. How's that coming?
I haven't even started on yet.
He's waiting till the last minute like Dina.
I have plenty of time.
You
Seven to eight.
I'm waiting for somebody else to step up and do it.
You were, I don't think you were at the department head meeting, were you?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you gave him then?
Oh, okay.
That's what I was told to, okay.
You asked me if we were riding, that's what it was. I was thinking it was you and TJ that volunteered it, but I forgot. Okay.
Probably. On the Christmas parade, there'll be caroling and food and vendors and things.
Prior to, at 6, okay. So, something else I wanted to talk about tonight was, you guys remember Wayne Mays from the Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce that has came and talked to us a couple of times about, they call it the Hammer C, the Heartland Advanced Medical Manufacturing Regional Cluster. So I've been in contact with Wayne quite a bit in the last month and a half. There's a couple projects going on currently. So the old C4 property has been purchased by a company called Extremis, and they're doing some signal testing for military equipment to try to, I guess it's anti-jamming equipment is what they're trying to make. So that's going on at C4. They're in contact with this Hammer C group. The National Guard is looking for a spot, primarily South Washington County, to do some, they're looking to add some additional stuff from the National Guard. Some extra helicopters, some equipment, training, different things. So Fayetteville is positioned really well to get that at Drakefield. The project that we've been working on that directly ties to West Fork is, they're calling it Project Circle. There's a company that's looking for 25 acres with railroad access. And so they ask if I could, give them a couple parcel numbers in West Fork, that 25 contiguous acres that bordered the rail. And so obviously I've done so. We don't know what's going to come of that yet, but there is a company that's looking for a spot like West Fork. So obviously West Fork is somewhat unique. West Fork and Greenland, we think about this Hammer C was designed for that Highway 62 corridor from, was it Tulsa to Elkins? I think that's right. At any rate, there's not any rail or land that was available that met their criteria. Fayetteville was not interested in even talking to them about a manufacturing facility, so they kind of left West Fork and Greenland as the two cities that they could recommend. So that being said, I've talked to Wayne a lot here lately about this. He has asked to come and talk to the council again. He said, this is a freebie for us. he's proven his worth, and he wants to come and address the council again to talk to us about potentially reconsidering entering into that group. So just a heads up.
What are they wanting to build?
Do what?
What are they wanting to build?
No, they want us to pay for them to look.
Yeah, but couldn't we potentially get these whatevers to come in without us having to pay him for that?
We certainly could. We certainly could.
Okay.
Yes, they're an advertising arm, right? They're an economic group that's looking. They're doing some stuff. So currently in our area, small towns that are a member of the group are Lincoln and Farmington. Lincoln has, and I don't know what group they have procured over there, but there is someone moving into Lincoln directly connected to the work of this group. So it's just a way to get a little bit more publicity, if you will, to let people know that we would be looking for some investment in the community in the form of manufacturing or more commercial type aspects. So
Now, the land that connects to the rail, is that for like railhead operations, or what are we talking about? Or is that with the military, or is that not?
no, that's with this Project Circle, and they are a group that is they do manufacturing of some type. It's a light manufacturing, and so the rail would be transport in, transport out. So that's just a heads up. We're in talk. There's been some talk about that. I've gave them several parcels for them to look at. They may not even be interested, right? But
Are they looking to purchase the land, or they want
I think
use of the land?
that I don't know 100%. I was told they were looking for 25 contiguous acres with rail access. So.
Okay.
So something else I wanted to bring up was an update on Riverside Park. So at our last meeting, we had discussed a clean out of Riverside Park. It didn't get done. I'm not sure if everybody noticed that. We've had the driest summer that I can remember, and we worked our tails off trying to get the river cleaned out. We probably could have got the river cleaned out had we paid to have it cleaned out. We contacted someone who was interested in taking the gravel out and doing it for free. By the time we were able to get some sort of go ahead from the state, they were busy again. So as is usual the case when you're trying to get something on the cheap, sometimes it doesn't get done. But I think we're in a better spot for next summer if it dries up to clean up some of that down there. We've got a better plan in place, but we spent 2 weeks just figuring out that Isaac was going to have to go to Little Rock to sign a paper so that he could come back to West Fork and sign it digitally. So it was a paper that had to be signed digitally, but you had to go to Little Rock to get your initial signature on file so that you could sign digitally. So it was a total disaster. But a long story short, we're not going to get the river cleaned out. It doesn't look like in 2024. So, and then finally, I'm not sure if everyone had heard, but I just wanted to make mention that Frank McDaniel has passed away. He came to a lot of our meetings. He sat right back there in the back. He was very involved. Frank and I, he emailed me no less than 2 times a month with questions or concerns about the city. He was a good guy. He cared. Even though he wasn't, for a while, he wasn't able to come for medical issues, but he was still watching us on YouTube faithfully. He was always telling me the crazy things that Dina had said, but no, Frank was a good guy, and I wasn't sure if everyone had heard that, but that's why he hasn't been here in a while. So we missed him for a while. Anyway, just an update on that. And that is all that I had for this month.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. That motion carries. We are adjourned.